Hello, I'm Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Literary Love 123, where I read, analyze, and discuss horror through a literary lens. Today's video is episode 1 of my new 2026 poetry series titled For People Who Don't Like Poetry. After this quick intro, I'll be right back to introduce today's poem. Today's poem is Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. I chose this poem for episode 1 for 2 reasons. The first reason is this poem was requested by one of my subscribers, Andrew. So thank you, Andrew, for requesting Annabel Lee. And the second reason is because in January, we celebrate the birthday of Edgar Allan Poe. His birthday is January 19th, and when I am recording this episode, we are in the middle of the Nevermore Readathon in honor of Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. This readathon is created and hosted by the wonderful cat at Cat's Novel Adventures. Edgar Allan Poe's Annabel Lee was published on October 9th, 1849, 2 days after Poe's death. This poem was likely written sometime in May of 1849 and was inspired by Virginia Clem, Poe's deceased wife, who died of tuberculosis in January of 1847, which lends to the themes of lost love and melancholia that are present in Annabel Lee. Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. With a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lie down by the side of my darling, my life, and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. Analysis of Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. I want to start with analyzing the content of the poem and then move on to the form and the rhyme scheme in this poem. So, with the opening lines, it was many and many a year ago in a kingdom by the sea. This is a fairy tale opening. This evokes those ideas of once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away. So you start by having this idea that we're moving into a love story in the next few lines. A maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. It's a love story. Baby, just say yes, right? Notice that we have already started at the very beginning with this idea of a love that was almost obsessive, right? Because the narrator here writes that Annabel Lee lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. This is an example of Poe's philosophy of the unity of effect, his philosophy that when you begin a poem or a short story, you already have the ending in mind, so that everything in that story or poem from the very beginning is lending itself to the eventual climax of the story or poem. So we're starting off already knowing that this is a fairy tale like existence, and fairy tales aren't real. And maybe you have this idea that you and your beloved are going to live happily ever after, but that may not be the case. So let's go ahead to this next line now. I was a child and she was a child. So we get that emphasis on youth. The narrator was a child. Annabel Lee was a child. That also makes us think about the ways that young people can be naive. I mean, old people can be naive too, be for real. But young love, you get the starry eyes. You're star-crossed lovers. When we think about the eventual end of this poem, we could also compare this relationship between narrator and Annabel Lee to Romeo and Juliet, that young love burning so brightly that eventually burns out in one way or another. We get again to this repetition, this kingdom by the sea. So we will notice that Poe uses quite a bit of repetition in this poem just to remind the reader this is kingdom by the sea, which seems almost magical. Then we get that next line, we loved with a love that was more than love. So again, more repetition of the word love. Not only did they love each other, but their love was more than love. It was more than anyone else's love. It was a perfect love. So much so that this narrator says that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. So this love was so deep, so passionate, so perfect that even the angels coveted what this narrator and Annabel Lee had. And this was a reason that long ago in the kingdom by the sea, so again reminding us we're in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. So get the idea at the beginning, warmth, this kingdom by the sea. You think of being on the seashore, the sun shining, but now the cloud has come over. Not just any cloud, a cloud that is chilling. Keep in mind that word chilling. Her highborn kinsman came and bore her away from me to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. So Annabel Lee's family comes once she's passed away to bury her. So we get now her sepulcher, right, her tomb in the Kingdom by the Sea. When we opened up the poem, we had love in the Kingdom by the Sea. We had joy, we had happiness, life, young love. Now we have death and heartbreak. Then in the next stanza, the angels not half so happy in heaven went envying her and me. So again, the narrator is repeating that it is the angels, the seraphs of heaven. They were jealous. They envied the love. And so this is the reason. That was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. So go back to that third stanza when I talked about remembering that word chilling. A wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabel Lee. And now we have the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. So Poe uses internal rhyme here, chilling and killing. He does this to emphasize to the reader that his beloved is now deceased. Chilling. Annabel Lee was chilled. Their love is chilled. And that feeling of warmth that we had at the beginning of Annabel Lee has now gone cold. Notice, though, we have a volta or a turning point at the beginning of the next stanza with the word but. So this lets us know that we're either going to get a transition in subject or a transition in looking at the concept of the poem in a different way. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. So their youth intensified their love. And the narrator believes not only did they have a more intense kind of love, but that their love was wiser, that they knew more about love than those who were much older and supposedly wiser in the ways of love. Neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. Their love is eternal. Death is not the end of their love. I also want to point out the way Poe uses the word or the words with the D, the duh sound, nor the demons down under the sea. That is an example of consonants where we have repetition of consonant sounds and words close together, demons down under. And then with demons down, since both of those words begin with that duh sound, that's alliteration. And that duh is a harsh sound, right? Demons down under. So it doesn't matter whether the spirits are trying to pull them apart, come from heaven above or hell below. Neither group of entities is able to separate this eternal love between the narrator and Annabel Lee. None can dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. So we get internal rhyme in this couple of lines here too. Nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever, never be able to break them apart. Then we have repetition, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. So that emphasis with the repetition of My Soul from the Soul of the Beautiful Annabel Lee emphasizes that their unity does not end in death, that their souls are going to be connected for eternity. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. So we have internal rhyme in the internal rhyme in this line too. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. So all day they were in love when Annabel Lee was alive, spending time down in the kingdom by the sea. Now at night, that love continues. The narrator dreams of Annabel Lee every night because he says the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And the stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. So we have internal rhyme in that line too. Stars never rise, but I feel the bright eyes. So think about the way that the stars shine. They light up the darkness at night. In the same way, Annabel Lee's eyes light up this narrator. He recalls her. He says he still sees her. And so all the night tide, I lie down by the side. Internal rhyme again, night tide and side. So that emphasizes that all night long, the narrator is right by the side of Annabel Lee. Of my darling, my darling. So we get that repetition. My darling, my darling, my life, and my bride. Notice all the my's. This narrator wants us to know that Annabel Lee is his forever. My darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. So the question is, did the narrator also die? And that is why he is by Annabel Lee's side? Or is he lying there on her grave, kind of like Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights? We don't really know what he means by this, but we do know that their love was not dissevered by Annabel Lee's death. So I want to talk about the rhyme scheme. A go in the first line, a go, no, and then we have see, Lee, me. We have a lot throughout the poem of lines that end with the rhyme E. Very much a sing-song type poem, lends itself very well to being put in music and to being memorized. Between the rhythm poem, the rhyme scheme, and the repetition, you have a poem that is easily set to song. And I wanted to particularly mention that because Stevie Nicks has a beautiful rendition of Annabel Lee. And I will link that down in the description box below. I hope you have enjoyed this analysis of Annabel Lee. I would love to hear what you think of Annabel Lee and what you think the final conclusion is. Is the narrator also deceased? Is he just lying by her grave all day and all night? Let me know what your thoughts are. I really appreciate you liking, hitting subscribe, hitting that bell so we can continue to talk about poems. My poetry series for people who don't like poetry will air episodes every second and fourth Thursday of every month. If you have a poem request, please let me know and I will be happy to get to your request. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, or afternoon, wherever you may be. And happy reading.